Yo, welcome to Thursday's Q&A helpline. So every Thursday I do a webinar format call where I answer members' questions and I talk on a specific topic. So today I'm gonna talk about something that is very close to my heart, and I saw one of the agents, that I know him personally. He was sharing with me the other day that he felt quite demoralized that things were slowing down, and all the leads, he was getting a lot of leads. He still got leads coming in. He still got his marketing active, right? So he keep calling them, follow up, and a lot of those leads, a lot of the calls, right? They not ready to meet up, or they say that they give them a lot of excuses, they give them a lot of objections. So things like appear to not be moving at all, and this agent was very, very worried. So I said something to him that I also want to share with you, right? So the thing is that, rejection is part of life for us salespeople. So it comes with the territory. There are always people who will tell you no, and more people will tell you no compared to those people who tell you yes. So your job is very simple. You just do what you do best, all right? Just keep focusing, just keep hustling, just keep working what you do, what you're supposed to do every single day, and all these small, small things, they will build up over the long term. They will slowly add up, and even if nothing seems to work, even if everyone has down days, everyone has days where nothing seems to be working in your favor, nothing appears to be going the way you want them to, right? So that's part of life, right? And as salespeople, you must understand, all of us are in it together. All of us as salespeople, sales is a profession that uh we as salespeople, we thrive on others approval. And when prospects give us their approval by telling us, yes, yeah, I want to buy a house from you, it creates a very, very powerful, response in our brain, right? So that's how we are wired every day, right? So that's the thing, right? But we stop getting all these good feelings. We get our mood goes down when we don't see closing coming in. We get demoralized, right? So you must understand, this is a secret that I learned from one of my mentor, and I'm going to share with you, right? So the thing is very simple, right? What you are as a person, your identity, is totally different from what you do, which is a realtor. So what you are over here, this is you, and this is your job as a realtor, right? So when I ask people, right, when I ask people to rate themselves on themselves, let's say you try to rate yourself as a person, and most people would try to rate themselves as maybe 8 or 9, all right? And then I ask them, why are you rating yourself so low? And the thing is that they say that, oh, maybe I'm feeling down, I'm feeling demoralized, I don't feel very good about myself, right? So these low self-esteem issues show up. These low self-esteem issues come up again and again, and I'm telling you, it's perfectly normal. When I used to struggle with it at the beginning of my journey, and then as I matured as a salesperson, I realized that what I am as a person, all right, just say as a person versus just say as a realtor or just say as a salesman, are totally different thing, all right? So this is something that I learned from my mentor, and I just want to share with you what he taught me. He taught me, just you have to imagine yourself that you are on an island, and every morning you wake up on that island, and you go out in the world, you do your job, what you're supposed to do, you become a realtor, and at the end of the day, you go back to the castle again, you close the door, and that is your identity. That is the real you. That is you as a person, right? So maybe you went out that day and you did something, you did some activities, you presented, to a few buyers or a few sellers, and then those buyers or sellers, maybe, they were not really enthusiastic, or they were not willing to buy using you, right? So maybe you rate yourself on your role maybe 7 or 8. Maybe, okay, let's keep it simple, you rate yourself 7, right? But you must understand that even though you rated yourself as a 7 on your role as a realtor, you are still a 10 as a human being, as your identity, right? So those are two different things, right? So you need to grow a healthy self-esteem because rejection comes with the territory of sales. And the best armor, the best way that we actually protect ourselves is to protect our self-esteem. So don't worry about what others think of you. The most important thing is how you feel about yourself. I repeat again, don't worry about what others people, other prospect, other agent, or whoever says about you. But what matters is what you think of yourself. All right. So I hope by giving you this advice, I cheer you up. I try to tell you, you know, that there is hope. Just keep doing, even though keep doing what you're supposed to do. Even though things are not going your way, things are not the way they're supposed to be. You want them to be better. You want your life to be easier, right? But sometimes life happens, things happen for one way or another, for one reason or another, right? So you just keep a healthy self-esteem. All right. So I'm gonna talk about today's topic, which is 7 steps to surviving in any market in real estate. 7 simple steps. Step one all the way until 7 steps that you need to do right now, do every single day in order to survive and thrive in real estate. So the first step number one is very simple, right? You must find out what the prospects want, because if you don't do this step one, you're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna have a hard time attracting all those clients to you, right? Because if you don't even know what the prospects want, how are you gonna give it to them? No, right? So it's gonna be a guessing game, right? You're gonna run blindly, right? So things don't work that way. You have to find what they want, and then you have to be able to do it in a way that allows you to find out, right? So technology has made this very very possible. It's very easy, right? You can ask them over, you can directly ask them straight away. You can ask them, you can WhatsApp them, you can send them a message on Facebook, right? It's so easy, right? Just you have, if even if you don't have my survey, the one that I developed for myself, it's a simple survey, right? What's on the survey is not as important as the goal of the survey. And the goal of the survey is to find out what the customers want, what the prospects want. Because if you don't do that job right, as a marketer, you are going to run blindly. You do not know what works, you do not know what to offer them. And since you don't know what to offer them, you won't know what exactly they want. And then you will waste valuable time, resources, and effort, right? And you don't want that to happen. So always focus on this key step one, which is to find out exactly what the prospects want, what your clients want. And then the second step is very simple. It's a logical extension of the first step. The first step is to find out what they want, right? Assuming you already know, you already found out what they want. The second step is simple, just give it to them. But give it to them in a way which is, totally normal, low pressure. There's no pressure, in a non-threatening manner, right? So when you give something to prospect, right, you have to give it in a way that, you can't just keep selling them in the first interaction you have with them. So the first interaction is maybe you're offering them a list of mortgagee homes for sale, right? But you can't tell them, oh, call for the list. So the thing is that the idea behind being non-threatening is so that to make it easy for them to do business with you, right? If you make it easy for them to do business with you, they will stick with you. But if you make it hard, they won't stick around. They won't give you a second chance. Nobody does that. Put yourself in a similar situation. Try to imagine yourself as a buyer, as a prospect, or let's say maybe you're buying something on Carousel, right? But let's say when you are trying to buy something online, right, and it's so hard, it's so troublesome, and it just so happened that it it's just a hassle for you. What do? You just go away, right? You don't even bother telling the other party or the vendor or the seller, right? Hey, you got a problem on your sales, or you got a problem with your credit card or whatever. You don't bother telling them, right? So you must make it easy in a way that don't ask them to call you straight away, but ask them to email, very simple, right? Or by some agents are using chatbot or WhatsApp and all that. Do that. So make it non-threatening, easy, simple, right? So when you do that, all right, what's going to happen is this is the third step, all right? And the third step to mastering real estate in any industry, in any market, is very simple. you got to own your USP. Remember, helped you come up with a unique selling proposition, right? And I still see some agents of mine who are not very enthusiastic about that USP. All right, there's no reason not to be 100% enthusiastic. You have to go all out with that USP, because that USP differentiate you from all the other agents, and the other agents will not bother to copy you. But the prospect, the clients, the buyers, they will be curious and they will ask you, hey, how do you do that? How is that possible? But then you already have the USP, right? You already have the contract which I give to you, right? So you bring the contract, bring the folder in every meeting, and make sure you own that unique selling proposition that I set up for you. All right. And that is the best way to not only survive but thrive in any market in the industry. Let me tell you, the longer you are as a realtor, right, you will realize that after a certain amount of time, right, your marketing will tend to go down. The results of your marketing will tend to go down, and you will need something to, you know, okay, let's say you are in the industry for 5 years, right? Let's say you are in the industry for 5 years and you are known in the marketplace for maybe, a landed or condo or whatever, right? So the longer you stay, there is the need, the more the need to be known for something specific. All right, so that something specific has to be your USP. All right, so maybe you have one USP, you have another one. Your job is very simple. You just own it. Just put it everywhere. Put it on email. Put it on Facebook. Put it on, any graphics that you come up with. You put it on flyer. You put it on, your market what newsletter or whatever. You own it. That's the idea. You come up with a name card, and then, print that name card with your unique selling proposition. Every meeting, every interaction that you go, you hand out that name card with your USP. That is what I mean by owning your USP. All right. So you got to own it. You got to, let the USP define who you are as a realtor. All right. And that's the best way to give you longevity in the market. That's the best way to, protect you from all the commission discounters out there, to protect you from all the DIY portals out there. All right. And then to answer all the prospects objections with one simple sentence, right? And that sentence is a USP. All right. And I always keep repeating, I always tell my agents, own your USP. Make sure you own it. Once you have it, once you build it, put it everywhere. All right. And it will make your life easier, definitely. All right. And the fourth step, all right. So assuming you already know what the prospects want, right? You already getting all the inquiries coming in, right? You already have a USP, right? Right. The next step is very simple: follow up. The longer I work as a real estate agent, the more I realize that this business is actually all about follow up. It's nothing, you know, nothing takes away follow up, nothing beats follow up. Follow up is everything, and I keep repeating this again and again to my agents, right? So, because one of the biggest holes in the business, right, where you're losing money, is the part where agents don't follow up fast enough. All right. Okay, even before that, some agents don't even bother following up. That's number one. Number two is that they don't follow up fast enough. And the third thing is they follow up fast enough, but they're not persistent. They expect the prospect to call them back, but that's not following up, right? And that is the, weak follow up, right? So you got to be persistent. So when you're persistent with follow up, right, you never know what's happening in their life. Your job is very simple. Your job is to, give them what they want, right? And you can never follow up enough. Let me tell you again, you can never follow up enough. Why? Because you never know how much that other party is in pain until you come along and you give them something and they will tell you, hey, you saved my life. All right. So that is how important follow up is. That is how important, effective follow up is. And even more important than, okay, this about the other party, right? Because you're offering them something of value to them, right? But on your part, when you get all these leads every month, you're spending money. Let's say every month you are investing $1,000 on Facebook, $1,000 on advertising, right? And you are, I mean, this is not logical, right? Maybe you close a small percentage of that. The rest you don't close. How to make sure that, number one, the longer you are in this business, right, the easier it becomes, the cheaper it becomes for you. And number two is that you can actually close all of them. I can tell you, you can close all of them except for the bad prospects. The bad prospects, which are in general, they are bad human beings, all right? And they will scold you, they will use F word on you, and they don't appreciate you. They don't, those are the prospects which I call bad prospects. So forget about them, all right? So you got to focus on those prospects, all right, who are may not be ready right now. They told you maybe 6 months ago, they told you I might not be moving, maybe I'm moving in 12 months. You call them back in 6 months, you don't call them back 12 months later, because chances are, if you call them too late, they already will build a relationship with another agent, and that's where you lose out, and you don't want to lose out, right? I also don't want you to lose out. So whenever someone tells you that, hey, okay, let's say you call someone and the other party says over the phone, maybe I'm looking to buy in 12 months time, right? What you do, your job is very simple. Get yourself or your assistant to make a note in the follow-up call in 6 months. Half the time, the golden rule is follow up in half the time. They tell you, there's a very very powerful logic behind it, and the logic is very simple, right? If they tell you 12 months, all right, and 6 months later, it shows that you are very proactive. Number one, it shows that you're super proactive. You are on top of all your job. You are on top of everything. And second thing, 6 months, maybe they tell you 12 months, right? But who knows, 6 months already, they're ready talking to another agent already, and yet you come in at the right time, 6 months, and then this is the agent who spoke to me all this while, and then you still have a chance. So you basically, what you do with this strategy is you put your leg in the door. The door is not fully yet open, right? But you have to put your leg in there. When you put your leg over there, right? The door is not totally closed either, right? So when open, you are there waiting for the prospect, right? So that's what I mean by follow up, follow up, follow up. Step four is all about follow up, all right? And then step five, very simple, present benefit. So after you follow up, after you get inquiries coming in, after you follow up, after get them to agree to see you in a meeting, right? What's the next step? When you go down in the meeting, right? There are two ways to do it. The first way is actual, uh, in the meeting itself, one to one between you and the other party, right? And that is where what I mean by present benefit. So there is a presentation for buyer, there is a presentation for seller, all right? It doesn't matter whether you already have it from me or not. It doesn't matter. What is important is you present something that is full of benefits to the prospect, right? Every prospect is different, every buyer is different, also every seller is different, right? So some seller are gonna have this problem, another seller is gonna have this problem. So you know your seller better, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is that present the benefits of working with you to that particular buyer or seller, all right? And then that presentation must focus on the core area. Number one, early on I asked you, you have to work on your USP, right? So that presentation also must talk about unique selling proposition, all right? And the second thing is you must compare and contrast means that on the one hand, how do the majority of property agents work, and on the second hand, this is how you work. So you must demonstrate, you must show proof, you must show value. And when I say present benefits, right? Uh, I also really am serious about power testimonials. Pack your presentation with testimonial. Always getting testimonials. And by the way, testimonial is the last step, step seven, all right? But why I'm still saying that you should be getting testimonials all the time. And I assume if you have a few testimonials, take it and put it inside the presentation, all right? And the second type of presentation is basically, all right, even before the prospect meets you. So how do you close the sale even before the prospect meets you? And this is something which is very, very powerful, right? You send them something which is, I call it, okay, my mentor Dan Kennedy, he called it the bomb, right? So what's the bomb, right? So the bomb is something very simple, right? It portrays you as an authority rather than a salesman, or rather than a hungry salesman or real estate agent, right? It shows you as an authority, and the best way to become an authority is what my mentor told me, is to write a book, right? But most realtors are not authors, right? So this is one area where many agents can actually differentiate themselves by writing a book, right? So that's one way. Another way is using media features. So let's say you are featured in a media, maybe the channel did an interview of you, took your interview, right? So you can use that as a feature, that you got featured in Channel News Asia, for example, right? And then you can use a simple screenshot and you can place a link over there, all right? So this thing you can send out before the meeting itself, and it's not limited to what I just said. It's not limited to your book. It's not limited to media feature. It can be anything. It can be a lot of testimonial, recorded video testimonial, referral by your customer, what they say about you, similar. Okay, one of the best way is to send them testimonial which testimonials of other buyers or sellers who were in the exact same position as them, right? So that's very, very powerful. So that's how their mind start thinking, oh, okay, so this is something for my particular situation, and this agent understands my situation, right? And that's one of the best ways that I know of to build trust fast. And when they meet up with you in person, the deal is already closed. That's how they come pre-sold to you, and you already portray yourself as an authority, and by the time they come to you, they're already pre-sold. All right, so that was just now step number 5. All right, present benefit. It's the same benefit, is for the same presentation, but there is a different presentation for buyer, there's a different presentation for seller. But you need work, you need to practice, you need to improve, right? Like anything else in life, how do you get better at something? You get better by practice. Practice makes permanent, right? So it's a habit, so it becomes a habit for you, right? So yeah, so basically just practice the presentation, and practice giving them benefit. Don't worry about, don't focus on feature. I see a lot of agents focusing on feature, like 2+1, near MRT or whatever. That is feature, and buyers don't buy features, they buy benefits. Remember, they buy emotionally. Anything got to do with emotion is a benefit. Anything to do with logic, like for example 2+1, or chandelier, or for example, or all these are features. The features don't sell, benefits sell, right? And even more powerful, this is one trick that I learned from one of my other mentor, copywriting mentor, is that after feature, after benefit, the last thing is meaning. All right. So what is the meaning for them? So meaning, everyone is, because you must understand, human beings, we are very curious, right? We are always looking for patterns. We are always looking for meaning in life, right? And we're always asking, what's the meaning of life, right? So when you give them a benefit, right? For example, maybe save more time, right? By, let's say, maybe the future is the primary school is nearer, right? What's the benefit? The benefit is that okay, save money to you don't have to send your kids manually by school bus, or you don't have to send them by other bus, right? Public transport. So if walking distance, then the students, I mean, the your kid can walk, right? And the second benefit is that basically save the effort, save the time, so that your children can spend more time on things that they love, right? So these are benefit. And the meaning, what's the meaning behind all this? Why are you trying to say all this, right? So the meaning is that you want your kid to have the best life, right? That's why you are gonna try to buy this house in this particular location, right? So that's the meaning, right? So ultimate benefit is the meaning. All right. So now I'm gonna move on to step number 6, leverage referral. All right. And the best time to ask for referral is when they sign a deal with you, when they close the deal in your office or wherever you are in their home, right? That is the best time to ask them for referral. And when they ask for referral, right, the best way is to do, why do I say that you have to ask them for referral? For any newly closed customer, on the spot, you have to ask for referral. Why am I saying that? Why is that a big strategy? Okay, when you must understand that okay, when people are buying something, you know they love you the most at the closing time. That's number one. Number two, because they are buyer, they're actively in the frame of mind of looking at other houses for buying, right? So, our human mind, our human brain is so powerful that, I mean, even today we don't fully understand it. But one of the most powerful, thing that our brain has is something scientists call, the reticular activator, right? So what's the reticular activator? It's a cheem word, it's a complex word, right? So it's the part of the brain that, filters other events, filters information based on our own experiences. Let me give you an example, right? So last time my father bought a red color car, right? Toyota Corolla. That was all those years ago. And the day he bought that car, right? Personally must have seen, dozens and dozens and dozens of, of the similar, same model, same car driving around. And why is that? Because my mind was tuned to that particular car. So when I say you ask people for, referral in that meeting upon closing, is the same concept behind this. You ask them for the same, you ask them, since you are a buyer, since you're looking to buy, I'm sure you will recognize other people, who also are likely to buy or sell a house, right? And then ask them to refer them to me, right? Simple, very simple, and make it easy for them, all right? And now I'm gonna move on to the next step, which is basically get power testimonial, all right? And okay, and you not only have to get any testimonial, you must get power testimonial. What I mean by power testimonial, so I always share about this thing that you can't have weak testimonials working for you. You must have very, very powerful, very, very solid testimonial. You can't say, oh, okay, just say help me sell my house. No, that kind of testimonial won't do. You have to make it very specific. You have to make it very powerful and something that it parallels their particular experience, right? So you must get power testimonial and you must make it a habit to get it from every customer that you close. And when you get it, the last step, very simple: put it everywhere. Put it on Facebook. Put it on Google. Put it on LinkedIn. Put it on your website. Put it on your blog. Put it on your email. Put it on your card, everywhere. Just put it there. All right. So I just explained to you the 7 steps to survive in any market. All right. And that's all for today's Thursday Q&A helpline. I'll be having more Q&A helpline every Thursday. And I look forward to hearing more from you. If you have any questions, just drop the questions below and I'll answer your questions. I'll see you next.